Hello, welcome to Dovetail Learning's Taking Back Your Power After Relationship Change webinar. My name is Emily. I'm the Director of Educational Partnerships here at Dovetail, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing a bit of my story so that it might impact your story or that you might take a nugget from today. Thanks for being here. Taking back the power of Zoom. Really. Here we go. Dovetail Learning is a 501c3 nonprofit, and our vision statement is we envision a world in which everyone learns how to be the best possible version of themselves, showing up the way we're proud of, showing up the way we are capturing all the light possible and sharing it with the world. So here we go. Have you ever felt like this? When I'm teaching in person, I have some funny pictures that I have people look at and caption. This is an image from a comedy wildlife NPR photo contest. I'm also a photographer. And this picture just like, what did the lion do? Jump into a tree? Cats are smarter than that. So what happened? The website says that this is a 3-month-old cub and it fell out of the tree. So what happens when a cat falls? They land on their paws. They land face up and they are resilient, right? Cats are amazing. We can be like cats. We are able to come back from problems. We fall out of a tree, we get up. We fall out of a relationship, we get up. So here we are today to talk just a little bit about that. So as we come into this space, I always like to do a breathing exercise to remind me that I am resilient. I am resilient. I am resilient. And a little bit later, I'll talk about pausing and choosing. And sometimes the only choice I can make is to breathe. Because when I get caught in stress, I sometimes just stop breathing. And then I realize how much better I feel when I can say, I am resilient. And I just say it in my head. A little bit about me. I have been a professional educator for 7 years. And I was a principal of a K-2 elementary school. Love talking about that. My parents are in this slide. They were educators in the town where I grew up. I'm a photographer. I mentioned I have black cats. I have a little granddaughter who's 6 now. And what got me through COVID lockdown was yoga under a tree. So there it is, yoga under a tree. Breathing and focusing and noticing the things around me that were good. I'll tell you about my life more in pictures. My new partner is in the middle of that slide. We are in that picture visiting Frida Kahlo's house in Mexico City. So taking back my power. Here we go. Today we'll talk about what is resilience, and we'll intro the We Are Resilient approach. We'll talk about what gets in the way, our protective patterns specifically, and then we'll pick up a couple of our centering skills, noticing myself and letting go. And we'll touch on the resilient mindset of choice. I'll share some resources with you and let you know how to contact us in the future. So what is resilience? Everybody says be resilient. Be resilient. Resilience is the ability to adapt and respond to meet changes effectively. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. I sleep really well, my resilience is going to be higher. I have a horrible night, it's going to be lower that day. But we can strengthen our own resilience through the practice of our skills. And those are some of the skills we'll talk about today. Our resilience helps us handle uncertainties of life, and it helps us contribute to our family, school, workplace, community, and the world. It's important to note that this is not something we just learn. This is something like yoga that we must practice. I don't say I'm going to yoga class. I say I'm going to yoga practice. I'm going to practice my resilience. I'm going to practice the skills of resilience so that I can model them for those around me, so that I can coach people through their own struggles in the future. Our journey of resilience looks like this. We have these patterns that are baked into us. I'm showing up today as I am with however many years of patterns and patterning that came out. It comes out as I am today. It's how I view and react to the world. And then I have mindsets. And the mindsets are how we strengthen our attitudes and our behaviors. The mindsets of curiosity, choice, and courage. These mindsets help us if we choose to use them. So choice is one of them, but we still have to choose these mindsets. And then we offer these 3 sets of skills. There's centering for me, connecting for a couple people, a partnership, a coworker, and then there are collaborating skills for group. And that's how we create the world we want to live in. So protective patterns. I'm not sure exactly how to talk about my whole story, but I was in a marriage with a nice man, a kind man, a good man for 15 years. And I, in my childhood, in my patterns of my life, my cultural patterns, which I'll talk about next, lived in a family that was nice and kind and a good family. And we didn't really talk about stress. We didn't, my parents didn't model conflict. I didn't know, people now I know people say the work of the marriage is work. Nobody told me that. I didn't learn that, whatever, nobody's fault. But my ex-husband didn't either. We together avoided our protective pattern of avoiding. We just didn't deal with stress until it suddenly was falling apart. It was like fine, 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 and then boom. We weren't going to be married anymore. It was uncomfortable and strange and painful, and that's one protective pattern, which is avoiding. And then he would get defensive. I would hyper caretake, do all the things in the house, all the things trying to make all the things that happen are all parts of these patterns. There's nothing wrong with these protective patterns. Avoiding helped me not have conflict, and avoiding got in the way of our relationship. So that is the piece of my story that I'll share right now. Patterns of protective patterns, and then cultural patterns. Cultural patterns are what inform our identity, what shape our identity, what help us become who we are. They are many, and they are not all listed on this slide. Everything about our family of origin, our cultural history, our ancestral heritage, our gender identity, our ethnicity, the stories that our family tells, all of that is part of who we are today. All of the schools and work relationships I've had have all shaped who I am. My mentors have shaped who I am. They are part of my cultural patterns. All of this is part of our worldview, the way we see the world. So I'm going to go back a slide, but from our cultural patterns grow our protective patterns, the way that we deal with stress. We all have stress. We can choose to let it throw us, or we can choose to make something come of it. We can notice it and not allow it to have power over us. So those are our patterns. And guess what? Every human being has impeccable reasons for behaving exactly as they do. Yeah. Have you ever seen a child and then seen their parents and then understood the child a little better. I was a K2 principal. Believe me, I had that experience many times. We are humans. We are each individual, but we come from the patterns of our upbringing. So, how do we strengthen our resilience? How do we take back that power? What brought you to this webinar today? So, we have these resilient mindsets. We have curiosity. How am I being? What don't I know? What don't I know about you? What don't I know about this situation? What don't I know about the patterns that you might be bringing into this relationship? How do I lean in with curiosity and ask questions? Choice. What empowering choice can I make after I have the information? We'll talk a little bit more about that one in a moment. And then courage. Courage. What kind of person do I want to be? How do I want to show up in the world? Courage comes from the Latin word cor, which means heart. So, how does my heart want to be? So, let's go to choice. Seeing, assessing, and deciding. So, I have a choice. I think of as our relationship was ending, it's been 5 years, but I still have thoughts and I still have occasional times when I wish I had done something different or regret about a way I handled something. But my choice is I can pause and make a choice now to leave that behind me. I can choose my response. And I think a really good picture here is this, between the stimulus and response, there is a space. This is also attributed sometimes to Viktor Frankl. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. So here's a story of how this mindset is so important to me. People would say, why are you getting divorced? You guys were great. And it's my story and it's his story. And I choose to say, it just ended. We grew apart. I don't choose to tell the whole story to anyone. If he does, I don't care. It's his story, just as it is my story. But my choice is to not drag things out in the mud. Maybe that's avoiding, and maybe that's keeping me safe. But I choose not to tell the whole story ever, except maybe in therapy, because I don't need people to know everything. If he has said something about me that is true or untrue, it's okay. It's his story. And if people choose to be in relationship with me still, great. And if they choose not to, great. Right? I can choose. My response is to be present and kind and in relationship or not with the people in my life. And he is no longer. However, we're still neighbors. We still see each other. We have a grand together. We're at birthday parties together. And I choose to take space and I choose to be a good human. Those are the things that I do to take my power. I don't let anyone take my power away. So in the We Are Resilient approach, we teach these 3 sets of skills. And I'm going to focus today on 2 specific centering skills: noticing myself and letting go. And each of our skills has a silly tagline that helps you remember it. They're endearing. Pause. What's the cause? So I'm noticing myself. If I'm in a situation where I'm feeling stress or my stomach or my shoulders, or, if you hold it in your neck, if you hold it in your gut, wherever you hold stress, what am I noticing? What am I sensing? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling that? oh, I'm feeling anger, or oh, I'm feeling fear, or oh, I'm feeling sadness. Just knowing that I'm feeling something and then naming it gives me the power back. The thoughts that I'm saying to myself, I am resilient. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am capable. Those things I say to myself. When I'm frustrated, I say, wow, I feel frustrated. But I don't ever say anymore, I'm stupid, because I'm not. I'm just frustrated or scared or worried. I'm going to get through this. I am resilient. Um, and then I can notice my reactions. I can notice those protective patterns. If I'm hightailing it for the door, I'm like, whoop, there's my avoidance. There's my protective pattern of avoidance. What am I avoiding? And is it serving me to avoid it? Am I going to be in service to love, in service to my core values if I run away from the problem? Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I don't. But if I stop and ask myself that question, I'm in power. And noticing the intelligence of my emotions. Um, we are, let me see if I can say this right. We are feeling beings that think, but we feel first. We react first in our bodies. We feel first, and then we think about it. So these emotional signals are the intelligence of our emotions telling us something. So if I'm feeling angry, I have an important boundary or value that's been violated. If I'm feeling joy, then something about the situation is what I love and value. If I'm feeling frustration, then my expectations aren't being met. If I'm feeling annoyed, something's bothering me. And if I'm feeling satisfied, I met my goals. I did it. She believed she could, so she did. I have that all over my wall. Just knowing those things as emotional information, paying attention to my emotions, becoming emotionally intelligent. So, how can I notice myself? Each of our skills we have micro practices for, because we have to practice and practice and practice and practice to get good at it. So, practice making space. Practice noticing how you're feeling when you're in the shower, when you're in the bathroom, when you're at the copy machine, when you're making coffee, when you're brushing your teeth, whatever the thing. When you notice yourself more often, then you're going to notice yourself. And then definitely when you need to notice yourself is when you're feeling an attitude. When you catch yourself wondering, why am I being like that right now? I don't, that's not how I want to be. Or if I'm feeling off, usually for me, it's my stomach. Something feels off. And then I realize I need to deeper examine what's going on and what I'm feeling, because it's probably not something I ate. It's probably an emotion that's living there. Like I said, when I'm using my protective pattern of avoidance or of hyper caretaking, um, those are things that I need to do. I need to check myself. I need to say, pause, what's going on here? Um, Maybe I'll give myself a compliment. Maybe I will pause. All right, so our second protective pattern is letting go. And our tagline is setting free what burdens me. Letting go is about releasing emotional baggage. Lots of cultural traditions let things go in smoke and in fire and in lanterns like this picture. But what are we trying to control or hold on to that's not helping us? What kinds of things would it be helpful for me to let go of when I'm taking back my power, when I'm trying to come back into myself, when I'm letting go of the reactions of other people to my separation, to my divorce. I'm letting go of judgments of myself that I failed. I'm letting go of the attachment to the outcome of 50th anniversary. That's never going to happen. Well, maybe no, because I'm 50 something now anyway. And I'm not married, so probably won't happen unless lifespan significantly improved. And that's okay. I can let go of that. I had a little grief when I had that moment of thought once a couple years ago, because that used to be an important milestone to me. But that's not in my control now. So, knowing what's in my control and what it's helpful to let go of is something that's really helpful to me. So, the things that are in my control are the boundaries I set, the things I think about, the goals I set, what I give energy to, how I speak to myself, and how I handle challenges, how I show up when things are hard, how I show up when things are joyful. I control those things. The things that are out of my control are the things in that gray circle: the opinions of other people, the actions of other people, the past, the future, politics, what happens around me, what other people think of me, what other people think of my relationship ending, um, how others take care of themselves. Anybody a parent? Like, it's not in my control. If my child chooses to spend all their money on Starbucks, I can coach them and teach them, but it's not in my control. So I don't give it power if it's not in my control. I can choose to spend my money wisely. I can choose to feed my body well. I can choose to exercise and go to yoga. Those are things in my control. So, the Buddhist spiritual tradition has this 4-step letting go process. So, letting in is just the identifying the truth. This isn't the marriage for me. And then letting be. Okay, so that means it's going to end. Yeah, that's big. But just letting it be, accepting it, so that I can let it go, so that I can forgive myself, so that I can forgive him, so that I can release those expectations, so that I can come out on the other side without a tether. Let that go, release that, break it off, um, so that I can let come what the future can bring. Maybe it's a new partner. Maybe it's a deeper relationship with yourself. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just you sustaining for a while. Whatever you choose to let come is right. So remember those micro practices. Let's let go of that shame suitcase, shall we? I'm tired of dragging it around with me. That one reminds me of the emergency suitcase at school. I'm not sure if that's where it came from, but I'm going to have empathy for myself. I'm going to know that I did my best at the time with what I knew. Now I know that if I had had some of these skills and understood my patterns, maybe I would still be married. But I cannot live in shame of that, not knowing that then. Oh, this is a big one. Let go of judgment of them or him or the others, because letting go of judgment of them also stops us from othering people. It stops us from separating ourselves. We need to have compassion for what they are going through, what everyone is going through, what we are going through. And then let go of the negative attitude. Yeah. People say, oh, you got divorced. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. I'm happy. I am discovering again who I am, what I want, what's important. I've set free what burdens me. I am good. Thank you so much. Don't say sorry. Say, are you okay? I heard you got divorced. Are you okay? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So here's a recap of our day, my story, this webinar. We are resilient. We are resilient. That's why I put that in there. Um, we are. I've gotten through every hard day I've ever had. Some of them have been really hard. I didn't tell you half my story, but some of my days have been really hard, and I made it through every single one of them. I am resilient. With me, I am resilient. Yes, I am. So those patterns can get in our way, or they can help us. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other, sometimes it's both. We can use choice to serve us, to give ourselves space, to take that pause. Here's a way. If I'm not going to react, just take a sip of water. Use whatever works for you. Say, oh, I gotta go grab something for my car. I'll be right back. Take a break. Whatever engineering way you want to make yourself take a moment to think about how you want to respond, there's your power. Noticing yourself, letting go things that don't serve you. So, repeat after me. I choose to be resilient. I choose to let things go or not. I choose to stand in my own power. I choose to be resilient. So I just have a few more slides to tell you more about dovetail learning. And we didn't touch yet on these connecting skills because first we have to be able to center ourselves with our 6 centering skills. And then we have these connecting skills, and each of them we have webinars for and lots of learning around on our website. They are noticing others, heartfelt listening, empathizing, choosing kindness, and speaking authentically. Our collaborating skills are research-based, noticing group, appreciating others, seeking agreements and honoring agreements, and then contributing intentionally. Oftentimes when there's dysfunction in a team, it's around agreements. So you could do some digging on our website if you're experiencing that in your work or in your partnership. I'd love to have you sign up for our website. For our newsletter on our website. Hop on our website. Tons of stuff. Download free digital resources. We have webinars, years and years worth of webinars. You can take our training to others. You can become a certified coach like I did my first, this was 2021. I was trained as a coach, 30 hours of professional learning. We have printed resources. We have a whole online course now for educators, but it would apply to almost anyone. There's some examples in there about school settings because that's my context. But so much learning available on our website. And our newsletter is every 2 weeks, and it's usually a story about one of our lives and how we use some skills and strategies that dovetail learning teaches us in the We Are Resilient approach. Almost everything on our website is free. Open educational resources, licensed through the Creative Commons. You're welcome to use them, download them, adapt them. Just tell people that they're made by Dovetail Learning. And then if you do something amazing with it that fits your context, share it back with us so we can share it out with the world. You can't make money by using our material and creating things with our material. You can make money training people with our material. But if you are going to use our material, you have to publish it with the same OER license because we don't want to hold this. We don't want to gatekeep this work. It's so important. We have a new book out, came out last August. It's called The Heart of Resilience, Nurturing Your Inner Strength for a Joyful Life. And it has been described as Chicken Soup for the Soul meets the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's based in story, real people, real stories about resilience. It digs deeply into the protective patterns to help you understand how those can be impacting your life. There's our website again. We have a new Substack, Tuesdays and Fridays. It's a fun advice column. Check it out on Substack. It's called Ms. Resilient. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for joining us. Dovetail Learning believes that the world would be better if it was a world of kind, connected human beings. Cheers.